Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is David Novak. I was about to go to sleep for the night and turned on a video by Pat at Book Chat with Pat featuring poems of friendship. And I immediately thought of a couple of poems that I would like to put into a video, poems about friendship. And so I lay awake thinking about it and finally determined to pull out the necessary books and make that video. I should add that Pat was making her video in response to a viewer who asked for a poetry reading on that theme, poems about friendship. And there is this little Everyman's Pocket Library anthology featuring just that. I did a quick flip through to see if there was anything I might care to add. I don't know. Wilfred Owen's Strange Meeting was in there. I mean, I guess you could say that's kind of about friendship, but not really. But oddly enough, both of the poems which immediately popped into my head after watching Pat's video are not in that anthology. But I thought that the Everyman's Pocket Poets anthology of friendship poems might be a useful resource for anybody who is so inclined. So I haven't read this poem for a while. This is by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. And it is about friendship and about other things as well. The Fire of Driftwood, Devereux Farm near Marblehead. We sat within the farmhouse old, whose windows, looking o'er the bay, gave to the sea breeze, damp and cold, an easy entrance, night and day. Not far away we saw the port, the strange, old-fashioned, silent town, the lighthouse, the dismantled fort, the wooden houses, quaint and brown. We sat and talked until the night, descending, filled the little room. Our faces faded from the sight. Our voices only broke the gloom. We spake of many a vanished scene, of what we once had thought and said, of what had been and might have been, and who was changed and who was dead. And all that fills the hearts of friends when first they feel with secret pain, their lives thenceforth have separate ends and never can be one again. The first slight swerving of the heart that words are powerless to express, and leave it still unsaid in part, or say it in too great excess. The very tones in which we spake had something strange I could but mark. The leaves of memory seemed to make a mournful rustling in the dark. Oft died the words upon our lips, as suddenly from out the fire, built of the wreck of stranded ships, the flames would leap and then expire. And as their splendor flashed and failed, we thought of wrecks upon the main, of ships dismasted that were hailed and sent no answer back again. The windows rattling in their frames, the ocean roaring up the beach, the gusty blast, the bickering flames, all mingled vaguely in our speech, until they made themselves a part of fancies floating through the brain, the long-lost ventures of the heart that send no answers back again. Oh, flames that glowed, oh, hearts that yearned, they were indeed too much akin. The driftwood fire without that burned, the thoughts that burned and glowed within. Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. And next up is a poem by William Butler Yeats on somewhat similar themes, and also, while it is about friendship in its way, it is also about something else. And this poem is titled Adam's Curse. We sat together at one summer's end, that beautiful, mild woman, your close friend, and you and I, and talked of poetry. I said, a line will take us hours, maybe, yet if it does not seem a moment's thought, our stitching and unstitching has been naught. Better go down upon your marrow bones and scrub a kitchen pavement or break stones like an old pauper in all kinds of weather. For to articulate sweet sounds together is to work harder than all these, and yet be thought an idler by the noisy set of bankers, schoolmasters, and clergymen the martyrs call the world. And thereupon, that beautiful, mild woman, for whose sake there's many a one shall find out all heartache on finding that her voice is sweet and low, replied, to be born woman is to know, although they do not talk of it at school, that we must labor to be beautiful. I said, it's certain there is no fine thing since Adam's fall, but needs much laboring. There have been lovers who thought love should be so much compounded of high courtesy, that they would sigh and quote with learned looks precedents out of beautiful old books, yet now it seems an idle trade enough. We sat grown quiet at the name of love. We saw the last embers of daylight die, and in the trembling blue-green of the sky, a moon worn as if it had been a shell, washed by time's waters as they rose and fell about the stars and broke in days and years. I had a thought for no one's but your ears, that you were beautiful, and that I strove to love you in the old highway of love, that it had all seemed happy, and yet we'd grown as weary-hearted as that hollow moon. That was by William Butler Yeats. Oddly enough, both of those poems begin with the words, we sat. So one poem by William Butler Yeats, one poem by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow, and once again, here's a book about friendship poems, which includes neither of those. Thank you very much for stopping by my channel, and thank you, Pat, for making such a beautiful video.